Hello and welcome back to Nana's Kitchen. Today I want to share a recipe with you that's been a family favorite for years. You can see that it's old and well worn and well used. It was given to me by a friend many years ago and has become, well, I guess you would just say a staple in our family. It's great all year round. You could cook it any time. But I assure you that if my family sits down to a Thanksgiving or a Christmas dinner, this is an absolute must. Today we're going to make broccoli and rice and cheese casserole. I'm sure most of you guys already have this in your recipe box, but just in case you don't, join me. We're just going to be right here doing something fast. Well, I suppose you would say it's fast. It is pretty simple, though I will tell you that. While this butter is melting, it is 1 stick, or according to this recipe, a half cup of margarine. I use butter, a half cup of onion, and a half cup of celery, just chopped up. So I have those ready to go, and that'll make this go faster. I have the 1 cup of raw rice. I have that in my rice cooker. I just happen to have a rice cooker, and I didn't used to. And I used to just cook it in a pan. I'm a terrible rice cooker. It either, well, I would put the lid on it, it would boil over, and that would make a mess. Or it would be not quite done, and that wasn't how we liked our casserole. We didn't want to have to crunch on the rice. Or it would kind of be a little too done, and then I would end up with like a glob. And so I just am thrilled to have a rice cooker. Now I'm going to place this into 2 different foil pans, although you could put it in a large, say, glass 13 by 9 pan. And the reason I'm going to put it into 2 foil pans is because I want to be able to bake it today, cover those pans with foil, and put them in the freezer. Well, why go ahead and cook it or bake it ahead of time? That doesn't seem like it ought to make sense. Well, I don't know about at your house, but I know when this family gets together, oftentimes oven space is at a premium. And if I can have something that is already baked, and then it's been frozen, so of course it transports easily in a cooler. It's not going to spill out and make a mess everywhere. Now, y'all, this butter pretty much melted. I can see the steam coming off of it. I'm going to go ahead and get my onions and celery in there and talk to you while I'm stirring and sauteing the onions and celery. Anyway, oven space can often be at a premium during the holidays. And so I figure if I take something and it's frozen, I'm going to set it out into the refrigerator the night before because it will thaw overnight. Then the next morning, I get it out of the refrigerator and set it out somewhere, on the countertop or whatever. Well, then when it's time to cook it, really it's just a matter of reheating. It's already cooked, and I'm not taking up space either in my oven or in anybody else's oven trying to cook a casserole that might take, I don't know, it says to bake for 35 minutes. It says put it in a 1.5 or a 2-quart casserole and bake at 350 for 35 minutes. Well, wherever I am, oftentimes that oven is busy. Maybe there's a turkey in there or something. And if I can, like I already said, if I can have this baked ahead of time, and all I need to do is heat it for 15 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, it just saves everybody. Well, I've learned this lesson over the years, myself included, the aggravation of having to wait until the oven is empty, have 35 to 45 minutes go by before my casserole is done. So get the casseroles baked already. Plan to reheat the day of. I generally leave the foil on them until about 5 minutes before time to serve them, and then kind of take the foil off so the top gets, kind of not really browned, but y'all know what I mean, right? It doesn't look like all pale and white. Now I'm going to keep talking while this keeps on cooking. And let me tell you what I'm going to do next because, well, let me preface with this. Nana is a creative cook. My family knows this. I've often said that I would write a recipe book called Creative Cookery, but then it wouldn't be. I know some of y'all got that. It says that we need a small jar of cheese whiz. Well, I looked at the Walmart app and it said that cheese whiz comes in about a 15-ounce jar. Sounds good to me. Only thing is, we live about 25 miles from town and I don't have any cheese whiz. But you know what I do have? I have some Velveeta cheese left from when Michaela and I were making homemade macaroni and cheese. So, seeing as how a big block of Velveeta is 32 ounces, 15 ounces is almost a pound. In my estimation, that's about a half of the block of Velveeta, which is just right because that's about what Michaela and I had left over the other day for making our macaroni and cheese. And I don't see any reason to have to discard this Velveeta or leave it sit in the refrigerator till it's not, as good when I actually have something to do with it that will make this dish perfectly delicious. So if you get ready to make this and discover that you don't have cheese whiz, but you do have Velveeta, then, I don't see why they can't be interchangeable. Be honest with you, there have been many, many times that I have just cut the Velveeta probably into a little bit smaller chunks than this, and I've just stirred it right straight into the broccoli casserole, and it melts, it spreads around, it's all good. But today I said, no, I'll put it in with the butter, the celery, and the onion, and let you guys see that's going to melt, it's going to blend. All right, we're going to have this heated up, melted. I'm just probably going to turn this stove off and allow this to continue melting because my rice, it's got 19 more minutes on it, and I know I don't need 19 minutes for this cheese to melt. So, y'all don't leave now. Don't click the off button or whatever it's called. Don't do that yet, because I'd really like for you to stick around as I just put all this stuff together and get it into some pans and get it in the oven. All right, the rice is done. I'm going to put rice in this big bowl. I've learned from experience that you better just start with something too big, because if you don't, you're just going to outgrow it and then have to start over with something else. I actually do use brown rice, just in case you're wondering. It calls for white rice, but brown rice has a bit more nutrition. And so if I'm going to keep any kind of rice on hand at my house, it is going to be a brown rice. Now, y'all, I think I got a little overzealous with the size bowl that I've got, but I don't care. Look, I want this stuff all get stirred up and poured into some casserole dishes. So I've got broccoli. Now you use whatever size or amount of broccoli you want. I will suggest that you use the cuts. Yes, I do too. I prefer the florets. And there are several florets in here. But to be honest with you, those cheapest ones that they have, because around here mostly what we have is Walmart, and those cheapest ones that they have, now you see my cheese sauce, don't you? Looking good. At the Walmart are really the best kind because they just have a whole bunch of like, kind of small pieces of broccoli in them. And the broccoli mixes up better that way. And for your non-broccoli eaters in your family, well, there's just not that much in there. And if you're using this larger cuts, oh, yeah, take the broccoli out. Don't eat it. Leave it out, in fact, if you don't want it. If all you want is just a cheesy rice casserole, I mean, goodness sakes, this is y'all's family. It's your dish that you're going to prepare to take with you somewhere. So, mushroom soup. Okay, dump the mushroom soup in because that's all we're doing. We're just put it all in this big old bowl, stir it up, pour it into a pan that's either already been greased or sprayed, whatever you want to do. I plan to split it out between a larger pan and a smaller pan. Now, it might not be all that thick in each pan, and that's fine too. I just want enough to serve about 3 people at Thanksgiving because there's only going to be 4 of us and Nana doesn't eat rice. So, I stick to a pretty close to a keto diet ever since, and I know I've mentioned this to y'all before. I don't say it to get any kind of sympathy. I'm just trying to be honest with why I do this. Ever since my breast cancer diagnosis, it's been almost 2 years now, I follow a ketogenic diet, trying to, do whatever you think you can to try to fight off those rogue buggers that are probably still floating around in there trying to ambush me again. I'm not saying it'll do any good. It just makes me feel like I am doing something to try and prevent it. So it's a long explanation for telling you why I'm not going to eat rice. So really, I only need enough for Thanksgiving in this small pan. It's only going to serve, Rebecca and Huck and Papa. And then in the larger pan, at Christmas time, Rebecca, Huck, Papa, and Michaela. I'll spread that out here in a minute. Y'all don't worry. But anyway, we get this in there. We're going to put it in the oven. We're going to bake it 350 degrees. It says, how long? 35 minutes in these smaller foil pans. I don't know that it'll take 35 minutes, but when it's done, I'll come back and let you guys know how long it took. Like I said, these are so nice to take with you somewhere, or even really for if you're staying at your house. Guess what? You're not going to have to wash when the day is over. Just saying. One thing I wanted to mention that I've learned from experience with these little foil pans and this type of a dish, they're quite flimsy. It works perfectly well to put them on a large baking sheet. It works great for putting them in the oven, and it works great for taking them out of the oven. It's been 25 minutes at 350 degrees, and I looked in there, and this casserole is bubbly and looking perfect. Can y'all see that? Cheesy deliciousness right there. Once these casseroles have cooled, cover them, get them in a refrigerator or a freezer. They are now ready to just heat and serve. How much easier could that be if you can get these sorts of things done ahead of time and just not be scrambling around at the last minute to prepare something? It is delicious. Your family is going to love it. Well, I think it's cooled enough. Papa, do you mind stepping in here for a minute just to take a little taste of it? Maybe spoonful out of the corner. Y'all, I have to tell you this story. It might gross you out just a little bit, but it's just me and I'm just going to be real. So one year we had made this casserole and we had it out on the countertop. Well, I think it's probably on the stovetop. I don't know, somewhere sitting out to cool. And Rich and Shelley have this blue tick coon hound named Hank. He's quite large. He's quite tall. What do you think? Be all right?
That's good.
Be all right. Well, good. And so he's also a counter surfer, as they say. And so we had that thing sitting out to cool, you know. We came back in there, and it looked just a little bit like this one's going to look. I don't know if you can see that, Papa. You see that little corner, Don? And I know this is really thin, but y'all remember this is the one that only 3 people are going to eat out of. Well, anyways, there was this little corner, Don. And, well, of course, it was Hank who had decided to do a taste test. And Hannah was there. I don't remember if it was Christmas or Thanksgiving, but this is one of her favorite holiday side dishes. And we had the whole casserole sitting there. We all looked at it and we were like, yeah, we're not throwing that away. And we just took a spooned out around it pretty far. Yeah, we all just went on right on and ate it. So I just had to tell you that story. It made me think about it when I looked at that little corner gone right there. Well, anyway, I'm so glad you guys came by today. And I do hope you'll continue to stop by and see what we have happening out here at this old rock schoolhouse in far northeast Oklahoma. But the most important thing that I hope you will always remember, just in case no one has told you this today, Nana loves you.